Welcome to a Noob's Guide to Theodore Bruckner. This monosyllabic murder mountain is Theodore Bruckner. He's big, mean, strong, and accordingly has the silliest playstyle of any legendary hero in all of Total War Warhammer 3. But as the Judicial Champion and State Executioner for the City of Nuln, Teddy the Bear here is the last word in law enforcement, civic punishment, and settling any petty squabbles of his patron, the Elector Countess of Nuln, Emmanuel de Lebowitz.
Mwah. Did you see what the Countess was wearing? I swear her Ausschöpfung was showing. Theodore, cut off his balls.
In this video, you'll find out who this Titan headsman is and how Theodore Bruckner plays in-game. To unlock him, you'll first need the Empire part of the Thrones of Decay DLC, then pick any Empire faction and get its main character to level 10. You'll be given a quest to build a livery stable. Do this and then kill 1,000 enemies in battle with melee cavalry, and then you'll have finally checked enough boxes that Theodore Bruckner will lumber his way onto the battlefield. A giant of a man, dour, ruthless, and with as much to say as an introvert in a communal hot tub, Theodore Bruckner towers over most citizens of Nuln, so it's no surprise they gossip about him like a bunch of clucking hens. Is he really a blood-tainted Norskin, or just an extremely tall dwarf? Did the Dark Lady of Nuln, Elspeth von Draken, really experiment on Bruckner to make him larger?
Because I heard Bruckner's Wiener Schnitzel is so large, it has given the Countess's Bundeschnatcht und Echo. Echo. Echo.
Oh, scheiße. All we can be certain of for sure is this Hound of Judgment is an oblique reference to Game of Thrones, and yet is somehow a less grim-dark version of the Mountain. Bruckner's mysterious origins just enhance his bloody reputation, sowing fear in anyone who plots against the Countess and ensuring a second thought before anyone dares insult her. In a judicial duel with a noted swordsman, Bruckner was disarmed by his faster opponent, but then just picked his enemy up, slapped him around for a little bit, and then banged him over his knee, snapping his spine like a Slim Jim. So it's no doubt Bruckner is inhumanly strong, but has the subtlety of a brick through a store window. On a super-secret covert mission to Marienburg, he challenged the first person who knew him to a fight, and then grumbled whenever he could that he wasn't allowed to just wade in and cut through people like a scythe in a sea of grass. It's no surprise that he is no general, or even a captain for that matter, in the game. He has zero talent for leadership, and most wouldn't even follow him anyway, as he's chopped a branch off every noble family tree in Nuln. For over a decade, Bruckner has fought and killed at his mistress's command, making him the longest-serving champion of Nuln in history. If she snaps and points, Bruckner is all, "Yes, my lady," and then doffs his fedora and whips out Liar's Bane. This greatsword, used by the executioners of Nuln for centuries, is already acquired by Bruckner when you unlock him in-game, and its ability timer is recharged by staying in melee combat. His unique skill, Champion of Nuln, comes in clutch here, as he never tires in combat, and if an enemy lord or hero ever goes below 20% health, Bruckner will instantly execute them. As a passive ability. You don't even have to do anything, because his sword may say the truth will prevail, but if you believe trials by combat were any fairer than normal courtrooms, you haven't been paying attention. And just to drive that point and his lance home, for mounted duels, Bruckner is equipped with Stormlance, a magical weapon crafted from runed meteoric iron that somehow manages to both burn and blast anyone he stabs it into. And he does all this from the back of a demigriff. And not just any old wingless griffin, Reaper here is the largest demigriff ever captured, and quite possibly the meanest one to boot. Reaper's mere presence will terrify entire armies and inspire other demigriffs to up their reps and post some gains in his presence. All this together makes Bruckner a better Empire Captain hero, with a great mount and enough unique purple items to ensure him a spot in your next raid thanks to that high gear score. And Yes, I'm mixing my hammers with my crafts here, but when it comes to war-playing games, most of you do as well. So when I say that Theodore Bruckner is an arms warrior, you'll agree. He doesn't have as much health as protection and doesn't do as much damage as Fury. So he's a PvP specialist with situational anti-large benefits. Bruckner is pretty good on the charge thanks to all the cooldowns you can blow, where you'll hit enemies with the Hand of Judgment to slow them down, then pop every available ability to buff him for 30 seconds of pants-wetting terror for anyone in his path. That's enough to stop a cavalry charge or significantly dent an enemy lord or hero's health. Or, like MILFs at a stripper aerobics class, you can go on the offensive and bring the pole to them. If Bruckner can't kill his enemies on the charge, he's not actually tanky enough to hold the line. And you can't really catch up to the faster heroes again, and he can't fly to get some of the bigger ones. So what's the point of him? Well, he has a fun little trick thanks to Elspeth von Draken, who was called in to help during the invasion of Tamerken because reasons.
If you had spent more time at the War Council and less in your bed, Nuln would not have its enemies battering the gates like strumpets at your boudoir door. Try closing your legs and the gates before both are ravaged by savages.
You'll pay for that.
During the invasion of Tamerken, the Dark Lady of Nuln marched out to fight the Maggot King and ordered Bruckner to tactically swat that fly-covered corpse, believing in him so much that she personally gave Bruckner her Balefire Amulet for protection against the dark sorceries of chaos, leading to one of the top 10 anime betrayals of all time. I want to make it clear here that in a 1v1 fight, Bruckner's Demigryph Reaper disemboweled Tamerken's Plague Toad Bubobolos, and Bruckner fought Tamerken in a duel, then split the rotting ogre in half from neck to navel. Neither of which can Bruckner actually do in-game, but he is more than capable of taking out most heroes with his execute ability, if they'll stand there to fight him. Most heroes will just run away from him, and heroes have a bad habit in Total War Warhammer of just stopping attacking. Not that any of that actually mattered in his lore, because Tamerken wasn't an ogre, he was a chaos-imbued worm piloting a meat mech, and when Bruckner ripped him a new one, Tamerken used that hole to wiggle 12 inches of worm into his mouth. But somehow, this was all part of a plan. Just not Bruckner's. The Balefire Amulet does not just protect, it also projects large amounts of fire in a radius around the wearer on its death. That's right, Elspeth von Draken strapped a bomb to Bruckner and did not tell him first. And now you can do it too! The trick to this is you have to level Bruckner to 20 and then get his Champion of Nuln ability I mentioned earlier. This also makes him unbreakable, so he will never run from battle. So right-click, stick him on an enemy hero like glue, and then watch as he burns down the hopes and dreams of someone else's army. And then, because he's a legendary hero, Bruckner will just respawn again a few turns later. And the game wants you to do this. So right-click, press all his buttons, and then forget about him. If Bruckner kills a lord or hero with his execute, you win. If he dies, he detonates, and you still win. Because when you're a treetop lover like Theodore Bruckner, it doesn't matter if you're taking the log or the red giant falls over on you. Either way, you're not walking away from that much lumber. So show your enemies what a medieval justice system really looks like, and sick a 7-foot murder mountain with zero sense of empathy on them. Cut a swath through your enemies and bring the pain to heroes and lords with a sword as long as he is. And if that fails, just remember to pack your amulet. Because this has been a Noob's Guide to Theodore Bruckner. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to all my patrons who continue to support this channel and make videos like this possible. You can join it to find updates on anything in progress, or join the Discord where we talk about this stuff constantly.